triadic color scheme, you're using, say, sort of three opposite ends on the color wheel, right? Three opposite ends, and you're using, say, touches of color from each of that, sort of forming a triangle, like that. Hence the name triadic color scheme. So all these things sort of forms shapes, right? So that's another thing that you want to sort of remember, sort of using shapes within a color wheel or on a color wheel to sort of come up cartoons mostly, right? Because it works well. It's very bright. You're using all the three colors. Here's an example: RGB, the basic three colors, red, green, and blue. I've used all three on this particular piece: red, green, and blue, and yellow, because I'm a yellow man. I like yellows, right? So yeah, here's an example of the triadic color scheme. Here is another example of the triadic color scheme. Right here, blues, reds, and a bit of yellow, sort of on the opposite end, forming a triangle on the color wheel. That is an example of the triadic color scheme, right? So sort of yellows, and using, say, certain things, and sort of using turquoise color. So see, right here, right here, right here, triangle, right? Triadic color scheme. You get the idea. Here's an example. It's not triadic, but sort of is sort of using, say, warmer oranges with little bits of green, sort of accenting. This can also be, say, taken as split complementary, but yeah, a little bit of blues for the accents. Here, that's an example of the triadic color scheme. So these things are basically the principles that I use in terms of color theory for colors, for choosing colors. I keep these things in mind when I'm choosing, say, colors for my illustration piece. With that said, I don't follow these things by the book. This is very, very important. If I follow these things by the book, my illustrations or drawings won't look the way they look with proper colors. I usually use these things as a foundational guiding principle, and then I use that to sort of use my own ways to choose the colors that I want for my illustration piece. So I now get into that particular part. Okie dokie. So here I have some pictures. I have some pictures that I usually take on my phone. So whenever I'm going around in the world, right, just looking at stuff, looking at things, and if I find an interesting color combination, right, I say, man, that salad bowl that I ate this morning looks very interesting, right? Maybe I should take a picture of that and register that in my mind, right? So here's a picture of that, and I was sort of coming home to Chennai from Bangalore, and I saw this particular interesting scenery, and I thought this had beautiful colors in it, so I had to take a picture of that. I went to a temple once, and that street was so filled with colors like this. Look at all the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful colors. This is what I love about it. The range of colors in this single thing is just amazing. I take a picture of that. Then here's a picture I took on a beach once, right? And I thought that was interesting. Sun in night. That usually never happens. And I thought that was an interesting scheme right there. Sort of complementary colors. Look at this. Warm and cool. Boom. Complementary scheme. And even right here, sort of cooler colors right here, mixed with very warmer colors, or a majority of warmer colors, and with little blues as an accent here and there. So that is how this thing. This is a wrapper. Someone gifted me something. I think it was I don't know. I don't remember this. I remember this wrapper being very interesting. I was like, man, I should take a picture of this wrapper. This is a good example of the triadic color scheme. See, once you learn the basic color scheme and the color harmonies, you sort of start noticing that in real life and things like that. So once I take pictures of these things, I study these things and I make notes of it in my head, literally. So you have to sort of, when choosing colors, here's a practical approach to choosing colors. This is how I do it, and this is how you can do it as well. You have to sort of form palettes in your head, meaning you have to treat choosing colors like cooking or food that you eat, right? You have a certain taste for certain kinds of cuisines and food. Some people like Chinese, some people like Japanese, some people like Mexican, some people like Italian, some people like Indian, right? You have these tastes, palates in your mouth, taste palates in your mouth, and you sort of say create palates throughout your entire life. You say, you know what, I like this particular Mexican dish, I like this particular Italian dish, I like this particular Indian dish, right? You are forming your own palette of food and ingredients. Certain people like certain ingredients, like some people like pepper more than chili. Some people like chili more than pepper, like me. Some people like rice more than other kinds of grains. Some people like meat, or some people like chicken over pork. Some people like cheese over mayonnaise or peanut butter. I don't understand why you don't like peanut butter. I love peanut butter. And I love peanut butter and cheese, not together. In case we do that, I tell you that I'll try that next. So you have these whole ingredients, right? You have this whole palette to build palette of colors over time by observing the simple things in life. For example, let me bring that whole thing up. Right? So if you take this illustration piece, I'm noticing the salad. I'm going, oh, you know what? That's a nice orange. Oh wait, that's a nice green right there. There's a good bunch of greens. And I choose another green. Oh wait, a slightly more saturated orange. And a bit of reds thrown in there. Ah, that is nice. See, this right here, I have a palette of colors. This goes in my head. This I remember. This I understand. You have to do this thing. This is work. You don't just get to choose nice colors without doing any work, right? You gotta do the work so that you can choose nice colors for your illustrations. So, like that, if you look at this entire thing right here, so I like this blue, right? This is sort of, a very nice blue, and it's also a combination of different kinds of grays and a bit of white and a bit of green, a slightly more darker green. And if you look at this is another palette that I've built up by observing things in real life, right? And I take note of that, and I make note of that, and I use that in my illustration. This is made note of this thing. Okay, blues and grays, fantastic color combinations. I've not used that a lot. I'm going to probably use that in my next illustration piece. Basically, I'm going to base my next illustration piece on this particular color palette. Blues, grays, whites, and greens. How good is that, right? Maybe, actually, since I've also known color theory well, I think this illustration piece would also do well with a little touch of yellow. Ah, look at that. It's so beautiful. Instead, actually, I'm going to turn this palette into this, like that. So this is how this thing works. You build a palette over time by just looking at all these things, right? So that's how you do it. Like, you build a palette for the foods that you eat, the ingredients that you prefer in your dishes and your food. Like that, you build a palette in your head for the colors around the world. And you do that, and you use that in your illustration piece in combination. And you can also go ahead and use these pre-existing palettes that other people make as well. So there are these Instagram profiles that are out there. One is color.hunt on Instagram. You can go ahead and look at all these beautiful palettes that they have for each and every single color, or sort of like combinations of color. This is how you sort of build palettes, by observing things in real life. And I can also observe this particular thing. When I looked at this particular thing, I went, hey, you know what? I like this orangish pinkish play right here. And they're sort of mixing that up with, say, sort of the very warm colors. It's complementary. They're complementing these colors. Again, complementary color scheme, right? And I'm going right here. Blues and yellows, a good example of complementary color scheme, like teal and orange, right? Sort of plays on the same end of the spectrum. And this is slightly different, warm, a bit accented blues, things like that. This is sort of an analogous color scheme play right here, right? Sort of playing on the same end of the spectrum, right? This particular end of the color wheel. Like that, you build up palettes in your head. So I'm going to sort of show you how do you play with colors. We are in the last end, the last part of the class, and I have 3 colors right here: red, blue, and yellow, right? This is how I basically go about choosing colors. So first up, for my illustration piece, I go ahead and choose my first color, you know, and I look at this red. So if I say choose a random color like this particular red, and I'm going, this is not red, so probably I'll choose this one, right? And I'm going, okay, you know what, Keshav, this red, yeah, it's fine. I may have to work on that particular color. So what I'll do is I'll keep that in mind and go ahead and choose my next color as for that. So if I choose, say, blue right here like this, and yellow right here like this, and I'll go ahead and look at this and say, you know what, I'm looking at my reds and I'm choosing, going, oh, this red is not nice, this red doesn't feel right, because I've observed too many good illustration pieces and good works and good combinations of colors to go like, this doesn't feel right. So what I do, I select this particular red and play with it, right? I go to hue, saturation, and brightness, and maybe I should change up the hue a little bit, slightly softer, because this is too bright. It's in my face. I don't want that for this particular piece, right? Slightly change it right there. Maybe I should increase the value as well. This is softer, this is nice, this is more brighter, more loud. I like this yellow as well, but what I do is, when I'm choosing my secondary color, my second color, I always try to play that particular color to my first color that I chose. This doesn't play well with each other. So what I do, I'm going to, yeah, hey, that is nice. That's nice. I'm just making slight adjustments right here, very slight. I'm just changing the percentages right here a little bit, and I'm also increasing, say, the value of it a bit, increasing it, sort of playing on the same end of the spectrum. So I'm going to go ahead and look at this blue and go on. This blue doesn't look nice. Maybe I'm just going to choose a color that goes well with these 2 colors that I've chosen. What works good? Hey, you know what? This green is very, very nice. I'm gonna use that particular green right here. I like the saturation of this green. This is a very nice green right here, and I'm gonna take this yellow, right? I'm gonna keep it aside. I'm gonna take this green and this red. I'm gonna keep it together. And I like this combination. Maybe this thing needs a little bit of work, just a tad bit of hue, just changing the hue 51%, a bit of saturation, and yeah, this works well right here. But this particular yellow that I've chosen as my third color for this piece, it doesn't feel right, you know, this looks like, you know, this doesn't look good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select that, play with it, change up the colors. What works well with this piece? Actually, this is very, very nice. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to use these 2 colors as the primary color of my particular illustration piece, right, like this, and use red. Look at that. That is the palette that I have for an illustration piece if I do anything, right? That is one. And like that, you need to sort of play around with colors and sort of see what works and what doesn't, and with keeping these color theory examples and principles in mind, and the whole idea that color is like a palette that you have for foods and ingredients, and you build a palette over time that is sort of very unique to you. And that, my friends, is how you choose colors the practical way, bit by bit. Alrighty, so yes, we're done with the class. Super, that is a class. How was it? I'm gonna to turn this around to my face, my beautiful face right here. Let me just save the file. Sashi, Dandra, save for. So how was the class, guys? How was the class? That was like a long class right there. How was it? How was it? Did you guys please upload it. This particular class is for my digital art made simple course, right? I'm putting this entire thing up there, and I thought, you know what, maybe for those people who are already online, I should just share the whole thing, right? Share this whole thing to you guys and sort of give you guys an understanding. So let me just save my stuff. Others up to saved, okay, and switching off, right? Yeah, so how is it? Good. Hope you guys had something useful from this whole thing. I might share it, I might not share it, I'm not sure. I might put it up like as a free class on my website as well. So it'll be up, so don't worry. I'll put it as a free class up on my digital art course. Like those people who are sort of screen recording it, screw you, man. Right? I don't care. At least credit me, all right? So yeah, I'll put up this class on the internet, my website, for free, right? You can access it. It'll also be inside the Digital Art Made Simple course. Yeah, so that is the thing. So if you have any questions, right, you can ask me right now. I'll just quickly answer, say, 7 questions that might help you. Rashmi, hey Rashmi, hi. You're in the Digital Art Made Digital Art workshop, right? So yeah, sort of this like slightly more elaborate version of what we did over there. So yeah, you got any questions? I see that you guys are really liking the class, and I'm happy. Thank you. What website name? The website name is cacheart.in. It's under construction. There is a website right now under that. But if you go to my website, it'll be up in, say, approximately a week's time, less than a week actually. So it'll be up very, very soon. So yeah, I'll make a video on caricatures on YouTube about caricatures. So definitely I will do that. God, man, a bit proud of. What's your drawing that I'm most proud of? I'm proud of most of my drawings, so yeah. Can you have a realistic drawing class next there? Sure, yeah, why not? Of course. Can I do digital art with stylus only, with fingers? Yes, I've seen people doing digital art just with styluses and pens on phones, so you can. If you want to share a drawing, do I change the hue or the saturation or the value? It depends on the drawing that you're doing, and you might want to play with all three, right? You have to play with all three, so that is an advantage that you have over, say, digital stuff. Can I use neon color in your artwork? Yeah, of course, if you like it. Sure, why not? Have you thought about digital painting on YouTube? I have. I'll probably do that thing. Sure. Can we have a class again? Yeah, I'll upload this class. Say a word in Hindi. Tumhara naam kya hai? Can all red color shades make an illustration piece? Yes. I've shown the monochromatic color scheme example, right? That is a good example of using reds, just reds for the entire piece, right? So that is something. Can you speak in Tamil? Yes. I went to your YouTube channel, there was a video 5 years on, you asked, I wanted to ask questions, said copy to learn. And so if we make our own illustration and try to render it in the style. So what is your question? Okay, so it's taking. When is my next workshop? I'm thinking of, say, holding, say, online workshops. What do you think? Should I hold online workshops? Say yes. Do workshops, Keshav, on the comments. I'll call you. Do you like classical art of drawing or digital? I kind of like both. If I'm feeling a bit meditative, traditional. If I want to make an illustration piece, digital. Online. I don't think I'll be doing any live workshops, in-person workshops for the next whole year. Yeah, with the thing that's happening right now. So yes, do workshops. All right, got it. I'll do workshops. So, yeah. What else, people? What else should we do? Okay, good. Are you planning to do a workshop in Kerala after lockdown? I don't want to take any risk in any way, shape, or form unless a vaccine comes out and everybody uses that vaccine. I ain't coming out. So that's the thing. I'm a great fan of yours and see most of you YouTube videos. Thank you so much. It really means a lot. So, in need of it. Yes. So, cool. Great then. That's been a long live stream. I'm tired. Hopefully. I'll see you guys later. Can you use Procreate instead of Adobe Photoshop for professional work? Of course, I use Procreate all the time. Feel free. How was peanut butter and cheese? It was horrible. Trust me. Peanut butter and cheese, nah. Which is the best way to make money as an artist in India? You can do tons of things. Freelance illustrations. I've made a podcast actually on that particular subject, an hour-long podcast, and on making money as an artist anywhere in the world. So go check that out. There are some basic principles. Are you from Vada Chennai? Vada Chennai, no, I'm from South Chennai. South, down south. Yeah, I'm sort of out of South Chennai. Right, thank you for the session. Anyways, thank you so much. I will see you guys later. Bye-bye. See you. Adios. Senors and senoritas. I shall see you next time.